the audit, and it didn't look good. And I found out through conversations that Moorhead has been dinged for equity for 20 years.
Bergen's trying to fill one of the 3 seats that are up for grabs this November for the school board. And emergency personnel and volunteers in Grand Forks are getting ready for their disaster drill. The drill set for this Friday at 9 a.m. until 11:30 a.m. at Grand Forks International Airport. The FAA requires the drills to be held every 3 years. Each year, first responders are faced with a different scenario, and this year we'll be focusing on an active shooter scenario at the airport involving a plane. This is Ty Shoners at The Flag and AM1100theflag.com. First with the news one you need to know.
Discovering the perfect paint for your home has never been easier with Zinsser Smart Coat from Menards. Plan smart with interactive tools at smartcoat.com. Buy smart in-store or online. And paint smart with an advanced paint and primer in one. Right now, get a gallon of interior flat paint for only $26.68 after 11% off. Good through September 18th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
It's already having an impact on Lisa Brady, Fox News. The possibility of a freight rail strike prompting Amtrak to cancel long-distance trains beginning Thursday.
Amtrak workers are not involved in the labor dispute, but Amtrak does operate almost all of its 21,000 route miles outside the Northeast Corridor on tracks owned, maintained, and dispatched by freight railroads. Some of the canceled trains include New York City to Chicago and Miami, and Washington, D.C. to Sanford, Florida, Pittsburgh, and Chicago.
Fox's Hillary Barsky. Some commuter trains like Chicago's Metro will also be impacted. President Biden has spoken to both sides in the labor dispute, but so far not all unions are on board with a compromise proposal, and a cooling off period ends Friday. The president visits Detroit.
The Great American Road Trip is going to be fully electrified.
Test driving electric vehicles and announcing infrastructure funding to help get more on the road.
The president remains fixated on climate, telling reporters ahead of this trip that he's not concerned about yesterday's hotter than expected inflation reading or the stock market sell-off before announcing that $900 million for electric vehicle chargers on highways across 35 states.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich. Illinois' governor calls up the National Guard to help with migrants arriving in Chicago on buses from Texas.
What the governor of Texas is doing is a stunt, and he's playing games with people's lives.
Governor J.B. Pritzker joining Democratic lawmakers in other cities and states, criticizing the Texas governor, who says he's trying to help overwhelmed border communities. Republicans accusing Democrats of wanting the migrant surge.
This has been an intentional, strategic campaign from the far left.
Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, some Texas mayors, and the Arizona governor also busing migrants to other states. The Biden administration rejecting claims it's failing to secure the border. America is listening to Fox News.
Missed you this morning. Kim told me you weren't feeling well, so I'm just doing a self-care check.
Oh, thank you, friend.
How you doing?
Girl, listen, my energy was so low because I didn't eat breakfast when I got up, so I had to miss virtual yoga with y'all.
Trust me, I understand.
But I'm doing much better now that I've eaten, so I'm back on track.
Great. In that case, let's get some steps in tonight. I'll come over and we can walk around the lake.
Sounds good. Appreciate you being in my business, too. Now, let me get in yours. Did you check your blood pressure today?
I did that and my squats, okay?
Okay.
High blood pressure is not going to be my friend if I can help it. See you at 6?
Let's get it. See you then.
Now more than ever, it's important that we protect our hearts and the hearts of those we love. Check in on one another and be a part of a healthy blood pressure movement. Rally your squad to take the online pledge at releasethepressure.org. Brought to you by the Release the Pressure Coalition and the Ad Council.
Hazy sunshine and increasing clouds throughout this evening with wind out of the southeast around 10 to 25 miles per hour. It will remain slightly breezy throughout tonight under cloudy skies. We'll drop down to a low in the lower and mid-60s with scattered showers and thunderstorms developing throughout the Southern Valley into Thursday morning, as well as a likely chance for more scattered showers throughout the day of Thursday. Temperatures will be in the upper 70s. It will be breezy, and we'll see another chance for showers on Friday. From the Skywatch Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Justin Storm.
Today's weather is brought to you by Summit Carbon Solutions. The ethanol industry is critical for the North Dakota economy and our farmers. Summit Carbon Solutions is opening new economic opportunities for ethanol producers and helping maintain a strong market for corn growers while generating millions of dollars in new property taxes to help local communities support our schools and hospitals. Visit summitcarbonsolutions.com to learn how this project is driving the future of agriculture in North Dakota.
Live from the PetroServe USA studio, it's the Chris Berg Show, your daily dose of truth to help set you free.
How many of you like bread? More specifically, how many of you like breadcrumbs? Remember the old Hansel and Gretel story? Because today you and I are going to go on a little journey. So just cozy up. We're going to have a little story time today. If you want to call in and share your point of view, number 701-271-1100. Again, 701-271-1100. Get cozy. Get cozy. Grab your phone. Dial the number whenever you want, because we've got a very, very interesting story time that we are going to take you on today. So once upon a time, there was a U.S. Senator by the name of Lindsey Graham. And Lindsey Graham, sometimes you and I would wonder, is he representing the people of South Carolina? Is he representing Americans? Sometimes you wonder, is this guy representing Ukrainians? And then when you start to sort of tie the breadcrumbs together, you go, or is Lindsey Graham just doing what he can to defend himself? Some interesting questions there to think about. But that's why I'm asking you your point of view. Is Lindsey Graham defending Americans? Is he defending Ukrainians? Or is he just simply trying to save his own hide? Now, what's interesting is that in our little story here, we just happen to be in the middle, actually about 54 days away from these things called midterm elections. And what's amazing is you start to look across the United States of America, there are some U.S. Senate races where people that actually want to make America great again are winning. They're actually winning in the polls. Herschel Walker, for the last few polls now in Georgia, is doing really, really well. Gentleman in New Hampshire doing pretty darn well. And what's fascinating is that if these people were to win their races and we have the chance to make America great again, well, if they start to win these U.S. Senate races, what's interesting for Senator Lindsey Graham is all of a sudden, next thing you know, the GOP is in this thing called the majority. And let me think again. What happens when you're in the majority? Oh, that's right. When you're in the majority, then you become chairman of the committees. And when you become chairman of the committees, you can start to make decisions about what the committee hearings are going to be in. And not only can you make decisions about what the committee hearings are going to be in, you can also issue subpoenas. So when you're the chairman of a committee, you can start to issue subpoenas. And there's a certain laptop, I don't know, guys like Ron Johnson, maybe, out of Wisconsin, maybe Senator Chuck Grassley out of Iowa. They might issue some subpoenas that would actually get to the bottom of a certain laptop that you and I have heard a lot about. Hunter's, maybe? Hunter's laptop? Now, what could be on Hunter Biden's laptop that wouldn't bode well for Lindsey Graham? I don't know. It's an interesting question, though. Now, somebody may go, hey, Chris, why in the world are we having the story time today about U.S. Senate races and Lindsey Graham and the majority and subpoenas? Because of what Lindsey Graham did yesterday. And don't take it from me. We're going to take it from Politico. Definitely not a right-wing political rag, if you will. This is the context I want to give you when you start to have to ask yourself, what's Senator Lindsey Graham doing? So I'm going to read verbatim here from this Political piece in regards to Senator Lindsey Graham. And you tell me, is he fighting for Americans? Is he fighting for Ukrainians? Or is he fighting to save himself? This is the headline on Politico. Lindsey Graham saves Biden's big day. The South Carolina Republican dropped a surprise bomb into the middle of the Democrats' inflation party. A higher than expected inflation report was threatening to black out President Joe Biden's big celebration Tuesday of party line legislation designed to bring down prices. The subsequent plunge of markets seemed to ensure a painful head meets wall day inside the White House. And then who came in to save the day? That would be Senator Lindsey Graham. He offered the unexpected soft landing, the article goes on to say. Again, I'm quoting here, the South Carolina Republicans' 15-week national abortion ban immediately diverted and divided Republicans and left Biden aides shocked. Let me repeat this. Left Biden aides shocked at the political lifeline they had just been handed. Administration officials and presidential allies, including some anxious about appearing jubilant on a day when markets were crashing, leaned hard into the split screen, denouncing Graham's bill in increasingly harsh terms, while Graham's Republican colleagues pronounced themselves downright vexed over his decision to offer up a plan more conservative than his previous proposals. I'm quoting here. I'm going to quote Lindsey Graham from August 7th, 2022, White House press secretary says. And he said, I've been consistent. I think states should decide the issue of marriage and states should decide the issue of abortion. That's from his own mouth. Now, this is where it gets to be very, very interesting. Now, keep in mind, who's Lindsey Graham close to? Who was he close to? We'll get to that in a minute, but he's also close to Mitch McConnell. This is shocking. And this is where I want you to understand that we are in the Truman Show, the art of influence and how these people will do things to go out there and save their own hide. And you'll understand this more in a moment. Again, I'm quoting back to the Politico piece. So obvious was the apparent ill timing of the bill's introduction that one White House aide said a Republican lobbyist friend joked that Graham appeared to be working for the Biden administration. Other aides suggested the comments continued a Democratic winning streak that started midsummer and began to imagine holding on to both houses of commerce. Quote unquote here, Dems might need to send gift baskets and champagne to Graham and other Republicans for their selfless acts of service today, another Democrat official told Politico. So those aren't my words. Say that, hey, Lindsey Graham, what are you doing? Those are from actual Democrat operatives, people inside the White House, essentially saying, you know what, we need to send Senator Lindsey Graham flowers and champagne for dropping the 15-week abortion bill at maybe the worst time possible. As I just said, we all have seen a lot of the headlines suggesting that the Roe v. Wade decision, just look at, I think it was New York 16, New York 19 district, right? Should have been a Republican pickup. Democrat wins. Large part of it was because more women got out to vote. Many people are saying that they were motivated by the Roe v. Wade decision. Look at Dr. Scott Jensen. I've got an interview that we might play later in the show from him, but Dr. Scott Jensen, I mean, economy winning, inflation winning. There was one other one around the economy he was winning, but when it comes to abortion and women getting just crushed, and the latest KSTP poll showed he was down by 18 points. So what is Senator Lindsey Graham doing, knowing that he's got the momentum right now with Georgia, New Hampshire, probably even Nevada, probably even Arizona to go back and take the majority? Again, we've talked about this before. They are the uniparty. They are the uniparty. Number to call into the show, 701-271-1100. Again, 701-271-1100. Now, let me share with you some breadcrumbs. I hope you like breadcrumbs. Might even be some Easter eggs in this conversation. We'll see. I like Easter eggs. The chocolate ones. Got like the gooey stuff in the middle, and they got all the nice chocolate around it. And you're like, Or the Reese's Easter eggs. Those are fantastic. Fantastic. So Senator Graham drops this bill that could actually surge and screw up some of the races. Hunter Biden laptop. What happened again in 2016? Let me see if I can remind you. This is December of 2016. I'm going to play something for you here. Just listen closely. There's a couple voices I want you to listen to, see if you recognize them. This is 2016 in Ukraine. Remember a guy by the name of Poroshenko? Does that ring a bell? Poroshenko, former president of Ukraine. No corruption. Completely straight-laced dude, right? There's no corruption in Ukraine. Nothing to see here, folks. Where's the old Naked Gun video, right? I need that. There's nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here as corruption and buildings burn. This is December of 2016. Now, why is December of 2016 important to you and to me and Lindsey Graham and Senator John McCain? I'll get to that in a moment. But here's December 2016 in Ukraine.
Your fight is our fight. Ваша боротьба – це наша боротьба.
2017 will be the year of offense.
Рік 2017 рік буде ріком нападу.
All of us will go back to Washington and we will push the case against Russia.
Ми всі повернемося до Вашингтона.
Hopefully, you know that's the voice of Lindsey Graham in Ukraine with Ukrainian troops in December of 2016. Wait till you hear the next person.
І ми будемо відстоювати санкції проти Росії.
Enough of a Russian aggression.
Досить вже російської агресії.
It is time for them to pay a heavier price.
Час вже, щоб вони заплатили важчу ціну.
I believe you will win. I am convinced you will win.
Do you recognize that voice? See if you can recognize this voice.
We will do everything we can to provide you with what you need to win.
We will do everything we can to provide you with what you need to win. That is Senator John McCain. More on that in a moment. But again, just to remind you what Senator Lindsey Graham just said at the very opening of this video, your fight is our fight. Really? They're not part of NATO. Why would their fight be our fight?
Я вірю в те, що ви виграєте, переможете. Я переконаний в тому, що ви переможете, і ми вам допоможемо всіма можливими засобами.
Це те саме гільзи з ворожих БМП, які...
What's interesting as well, just so you know, Senator Amy Klobuchar is there as well. And there was also somebody that was part of the impeachment hearings that is with this group as well. I cannot remember her name. But let's drop some more breadcrumbs. We'll give you some more Easter eggs. So why does it matter that Senator John McCain was there in December of 2016? Take a moment. This might be a tough one for you, but think about it. What happened with Senator John McCain in December of 2016? Now, keep in mind, they're over there saying, your fight is our fight. Now, who are they saying that against? Russia. Russia, 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 Russia. Right? Their fight is our fight against Russia. So what happened December 2016 with Senator John McCain? Starts with a D. It's very interesting, the timing of all this and how these things play out and what happens in Ukraine. And you may remember what Vice President Joe Biden said in Ukraine. He was actually during a foreign relations committee or foreign relations presser, if you will, back in the day about a certain prosecutor. So we're going to tell you why December of 2016 matters when it comes to Senator John McCain. Because what was going on in America in December of 2016? Remember, there was a transition happening. Does that maybe help you out? General Michael Flynn, Ukraine, Russia, 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 Russia. It's fascinating when you start to put the breadcrumbs together, especially in the context of when you start to realize what happens in Ukraine and when the majority could go back to the GOP in the House or the Senate, what kind of subpoenas could be issued? What kind of hearings could potentially take place over a certain laptop? Maybe even over money that goes to Ukraine. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. I'm just throwing a few things out there. All right, if you want to email into the show, it's very easy to do. It's studio@chrisbergshow.com. Again, studio@chrisbergshow.com. I want to say thank you very much to Red Wing Shoes for sponsoring our studio email inbox. You can always find out more, especially if you're someone out there working hard in a blue-collar gig and you want some custom-made work boots. Go check out redwingshoes.com. Again, that's redwingshoes.com. Or go meet Teresa. She's up at 3003 Main Avenue in Fargo. Again, that's 3003 Main Avenue in Fargo.
Are you suffering from a serious dental issue? Your mouth hurts?
Your farm and business depends on a reliable source for energy. PetroServe USA is the customer-owned co-op committed to being a stable source of fuel for your equipment and propane to dry your grain. We have the capacity to make sure you never run out of fuel and to keep prices stable. Dependability, competitive prices, and exemplary service. That's PetroServe USA, helping America fuel better.
PetroServe USA.
Call today.
Now at 701-515-9850. No dental insurance? No problem. Call right now to find out how Smile Solutions Fargo can make your teeth look and feel great for less than $1 a day with their membership program. Call now at 701-515-9850. Again, 701-515-9850. Call now.
Hi, Jeff from a Cutting Edge Gallery of Jewelry, and we're talking lab diamonds. At a Cutting Edge, you always get the best stone for your money, the biggest, whitest, brightest diamond, because that's what we guarantee. And in lab diamonds, we do the exact same thing. You can get a 1-carat lab diamond, D-color, the whitest a diamond can be, for under $2,000. And remember, you get the best cutting at a Cutting Edge. And we match that up with the largest selection of mountings in the upper Midwest. A Cutting Edge Jewelry.
The future of your farm depends on the systems you use today. Invest in your future with Brock Solid Grain Dryers from Gateway Building Systems. Gateway's Brock Grain Drying Systems use cutting-edge technology while remaining gentle on your grain. And they are built to last so you can have a successful season. At Gateway, they offer systems and solutions to help you save labor and speed up your system. Visit them online at gatewaybuilding.com or give them a call today at any of their 3 locations.
Now lawn mowing can be done at the touch of your fingertips with the Husqvarna robotic mower from Midwest Automowers. Our automatic mowers are equipped with theft tracking, GPS-assisted navigation, and automatic recharge with exclusive all-wheel drive technology. The Midwest Automowers automatic mower can tackle the toughest terrains and steepest of slopes, guaranteeing the perfect lawn 24/7. Spend more time doing the things you love. Contact your Midwest Automower dealer today. MidwestAutomowers.com. That's MidwestAutomowers.com.
Hey, it's Scott Hannon. Our family absolutely loves the full water treatment system we put in our home from Lindsey Echo Water. We live in a flood zone. We have the best ag land in the country. The river floods over, and on that land, the water recedes, and the trace elements of those herbicides go into our water, unless you have a full water treatment system like I do from Lindsey Echo Water Systems. Cooking is way better, too. Same with coffee. Go to lindseyEchoWater.com for details or call 218-233-8655, 218-233-8655.
Welcome back to the Chris Berg Show, your daily dose of truth. We are dropping some truth bombs, some truth breadcrumbs, some truth chocolate-covered eggs for you today. Number to call into the show, 701-271-1100. Again, 701-271-1100. Would I love to know your point of view on Senator Lindsey Graham dropping this pro-life abortion bill yesterday. Yesterday, he dropped it. And you've got to ask yourself why. Seeing the momentum that was happening across the country for Democrats after the Roe v. Wade decision. Again, and you can take the polling for what it is, but obviously those are the headlines, which sometimes gets people to stay home. So you got to begin to ask, so what's Senator Lindsey Graham up to? What is really going on here behind the scenes? By the way, coming to you live from the PetroServe USA studio, helping you and America fuel better. As you're out and about today, please stop in to your local PetroServe USA. You can fill up there, but they've also got some just great goodies inside the store, great Bison gear, UND gear. So go ahead and stop in at your local PetroServe USA. All right, so we were wrapping things up there, and I was asking you, so why does it matter to you and me? In December of 2016, that Lindsey Graham and John McCain, remember how close they were? Senator Lindsey Graham and John McCain were over in Ukraine. What did John McCain do in December of 2016? Anybody remember? As we were going through this transition, and keep in mind, you've got John McCain and Lindsey Graham saying, to the Ukrainians, your fight is our fight. Really? Why? I don't get it. What's going on? Crimea? Okay. So we're going to go send our young men and women over to fight for Crimea when they're not even part of NATO? Like, this seems odd, right? Doesn't really make any sense. But let me remind you, we're here to give you the truth. Let me remind you, what did John McCain do with a certain little dossier? Remember the dossier? How that got leaked after Comey sat down with Trump Comey sat down with Trump. He gets in the car essentially. I mean, I don't know this, but essentially calls CNN, says, hey, the eagle has landed, right? The eagle has landed. You can now report on this fake dossier about Trump and you know what, and Russian hotels and blah, 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 blah. But let's not forget, who's one of the people that gave the dossier to the FBI? Now, you and I both know John McCain had Donald Trump's phone number. All you got to do, if somebody hands you a dossier alleging some of the things within that dossier about what took place in Moscow, is, hey, Donnie, man, it's Johnny. You know what? I'm looking at this document. Somebody gave it to me. Seems a little bizarre. I know you and I aren't really close, but hey, we're on the same team here trying to go out there and make America great again. I'm just curious, like, are you doing this stuff in Moscow or what? Pretty simple phone call, right? Even if you just had McCain's people call Donnie's people. Pretty easy to do, but no, that's not what John McCain does. John McCain goes and takes the dossier and hands it to the FBI, who Jim Comey is then running. So you've got the dossier being quote unquote leaked, if you will, or given to the FBI from John McCain. So then they can go and debrief the president-elect on it, which allows then CNN to break it like it's actually news. And I think it was actually, it was some online website. I don't remember the name of it now because they've kind of gone into oblivion, but it was some online website that published it. They came out with it, and then CNN was like, okay, good. President's been debriefed. These guys publish it. Now we can run. Thank you, John McCain. And now what did we do for 3 years of a presidency that was making America great again? All the mainstream media talked about, to the point where you had Anderson Cooper ask the then former head of the FBI interim, Andy McCabe, do you still believe President Trump's a Russian asset? I really think he could be, Anderson, based on come on. Not one iota of evidence from Bob Mueller and the special investigation, right? Not one iota of evidence dealing with Russia. And that's all we heard. This is the Truman Show. You will believe the reality that you are presented. So let's go back to this. Again, Ukraine, no corruption, clean country. Actually, it's one of the most corrupt on the planet. So you've got Ukraine, the former president, McCain and Graham over there with him. And then this happened. And let's not forget about the laptop.
We're going over convincing our team, or others, to convincing us that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to the press conference. I said, no, I said, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was 6 hours. I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid.
Incredible that he says that in public. So we withhold $1 billion because of a Burisma deal that his son is dealing with, who knows nothing about natural gas, making a ton of dough. We withhold $1 billion and the guy gets fired. Now, keep in mind, and the reason that I want you to really understand what Lindsey Graham, again, this is just story time. I don't talk to Lindsey Graham. These are some breadcrumbs. These are some Easter eggs for you to consider, to think about. But remember when Lindsey Graham was chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee? What happened? What happened when Senator Lindsey Graham was chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee? If you said nothing, ding, 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 ding. But how many times did Lindsey Graham go on Sean Hannity's show or every other single show and say, when I get back in power, when I'm going to be the chairman of that Senate Judiciary Committee, we're taking those guys in the FBI down. We're going to get to the bottom of this Russia thing. Do you remember that? I do. I mean, it was all the time. Senator Lindsey Graham showing up like the tough guy, right? He becomes the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, and what happens? Any of those FBI guys go down? I mean, we had one guy that actually was tried in front of his peers. It was in D.C., right? So you kind of know where that's going to go. But tried in front of his peers, got off. Some great comments coming in on the live stream, thanks to Sarasota Fargo. If you want to call in and share your point of view on why do you feel Senator Lindsey Graham dropped the pro-life and or abortion bill yesterday? I mean, the timing could not be worse. It was just like, hey, Mega, we don't want you in D.C. So here, beep, let me just drop this. Number to call in, 701-271-1100. Again, 701-271-1100. Marie says Lindsey Graham is a sellout. Judy says Lindsey Graham is a liar, cheater, phony Republican, warmonger, and money grabber. I was totally shocked when he made that announcement. Graham is a sweet talker in the face, but will give it to you in the back. Diane, this is when I was coming into... Diane, well played. When I was teasing the Russia dossier, the fake dossier, and I said, hey, you remember what was going on in December of 2016? John McCain? Yeah, the dossier. So she says, what starts with a D, the dossier. Marie, thank you for sharing this video. It deserves daily replay. I think she's talking about the one with Joe Biden, talking about firing the prosecutor in Ukraine because you wouldn't give him $1 billion. I mean, it's stunning that Joe Biden just has I don't know if it's the sense or what, to just say that out loud in public, right? Judy, wow, what an evil play. Marie, don't trust Graham or McConnell. Boy, you know what? Don't even get me started on Mitch McConnell. I've told you this before, but if you go back and really, again, track the breadcrumbs, and if you remember what was happening before the election, because we were going through this COVID situation, they'd given out the $1,400 a while back. That obviously, I mean, look, anytime it's an election year, you can hand out money, it's going to be a good thing. I mean, you and I might not like it. We're conservative, but it's obviously a good thing when you can buy votes like that. People were in a lot of fear. And if you remember, there was the opportunity to go out and give another $2,000. Would have been able to buy more votes, would have been able to, help maybe make it easier to show Donald Trump win the election. And McConnell wouldn't bring it to the floor. McConnell wouldn't bring it to the floor. And if you watch the TikTok and go back to the TikTok on that, I think you could make a very strong argument that Mitch McConnell sat in his office and thought, yeah, I'm tired of dealing with this dude's tweets. I know Joe. I've been working with the guy for years. I think I can make some deals happen here with Joe. Let's just let him win. All right, want to remind you, if you're someone who is dealing with depression, anxiety, maybe you just aren't sleeping right, do yourself a favor. Check out Sarasota Fargo. It is a non-intrusive. You basically kick back for an hour, take a nap, and see if it's the right fit for you to make you feel better. The number there is 701-566-5231. Again, 701-566-5231. We got much more coming up right after this.
Hazy sunshine and increasing clouds throughout this evening with wind out of the southeast around 10 to 25 miles per hour. It will remain slightly breezy throughout tonight under cloudy skies. We'll drop down to a low in the lower and mid 60s with scattered showers and thunderstorms developing throughout the Southern Valley into Thursday morning, as well as a likely chance for more scattered showers throughout the day of Thursday. Temperatures will be in the upper 70s. It will be breezy, and we'll see another chance for showers on Friday. From the Skywatch Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Justin Storm.
Hi, Lacey here with Precision Concrete Cutters. You've heard our ads about egress windows. They add sunlight, they provide an escape and add value to your home. All true, but I'd like to let you in on a little secret. You can add an egress window anywhere, even if there's no existing window. I know this because at Precision Concrete Cutters, we specialize in egress window installation and replacement. Precision Concrete Cutters, 701-280-7038. That's 280-7038.
I'm John Hoeven, candidate for the U.S. Senate, and I approve this message. As senator, I work every day helping North Dakota's small businesses, building our energy industry, supporting farmers and ranchers. I've pushed back on vaccine mandates, taxes, spending, and over-regulation by the Biden administration that is taking our state in the wrong direction.
John Hoeven's commitment is to North Dakota and to fighting for you. John Hoeven works for North Dakota.
Paid for by Hoeven for Senate.
Have you ever thought about selling your home but quickly talk yourself out of it when you consider all the repairs, cleaning, inspections, open houses, and the unknown of what price your home will actually sell at? Stop stressing. We will buy your home as is with no appraisals or costly commissions to worry about. You can even pick your closing date. Call me, John Masala with JK Property Partners at 701-306-3229 or go to fargohomevalues.com for an instant valuation.
The fertile soil and wide open skies make our corner of Minnesota unique. But our people make it truly special. We're hardworking folks doing our best to raise a family, grow a business, or support our community. And Dan Bomer is one of us. He's a lifelong resident of the Red River Valley, a career veteran of the Army and National Guard, and 2 of his sons have served in uniform. Dan understands skyrocketing costs are hurting us. Whether buying groceries, gas, or school supplies, we're feeling the squeeze of soaring prices. Dan Bomer will stand up to the liberal metro politicians and fight to beat rising costs. By holding government accountable, cutting taxes, and growing our local economy, Dan Bomer is one of us. That's why Dan Bomer is fighting for our families. Learn more at stateofgreatmn.org. Prepared and paid for by the Coalition of Minnesota Businesses.
Big Iron is the area's largest farm show, and Acme Equipment will be there, showcasing Kubota tractors, utility vehicles, zero-turn mowers, skid steers, and much more. Take advantage of low-rate financing and money-saving discounts. As the area's newest Kubota full-line dealer, Acme Equipment is committed to serving the farming community with the highest quality sales, service, and farm products in the industry. Stop by our building during Big Iron and visit with one of our expert sales staff and see why Kubota is right for you.
Back and bigger than ever is the Big Iron Farm Show presented by the Cass County Farm Bureau. Stop out to the Red River Valley Fairgrounds September 14th to the 16th for the 41st Big Iron Farm Show. You'll see the latest in the agriculture industry, hear from industry leaders, and more. With more than 500 exhibitors at Big Iron, there's something for everyone. September 14th to the 16th. It's Big Iron. Get all the details at BigIronFarmShow.com.
Welcome back to the Chris Berg Show. We are your daily dose of truth. We're your one-a-day vitamin for truth here. It's hard to find these days, and we are sharing the truth with you to set you free. That is such a critically important thing these days. I'm sure you saw that we talked about it a little bit, the numbers yesterday in regards to inflation. Fuel prices actually going down a little bit, but cost of food is up dramatically, highest level since 1979. 1979. Then you've got this rail strike possibility. Someone texted me and says, hey, U.S. government trying to make contingency plans for the rail shutdown. The strike with freight rate loads. Potential shutdown could come as early as Friday. This person said could freeze almost 30% of U.S. cargo shipments. I mean, that is just stoke inflation, impede supplies of food and fuel, cost the U.S. economy about $2 billion per day. So with inflation going up, the market's just getting wrecked yesterday. Again, not financial advice, but I really would encourage you to find out more about what's called decentralized finance. It's where you can become your own bank, in essence, of your own assets. A great way to do that is just check out thereaper.io. Again, thereaper.io. Or just email Patrick there. He does a great job explaining things to you. He's got his own decentralized finance token as well. And that's Patrick, Patrick, Patrick at thereaper.io. Again, Patrick at thereaper.io. He will visit with you and educate you and help you out. So we're talking about what's happening right now. And I guess maybe one of the obvious questions for you, when you see the chess, the TikTok of what's going on right now, because there's been such a conversation about, there's no doubt the GOP is going to win the House. And I still believe that, but there's been a lot of conversations about the possibility of the GOP winning the Senate as well. And you see some light at the end of the tunnel with Georgia up, New Hampshire's doing pretty well. The question is, and this is from the live stream from Diane saying, hey, are we doomed with these swamp creatures, these rhinos? Is the GOP doomed when it comes to winning back both houses of Congress. Do you think the GOP can do it? If you want to call in and share your point of view on that or anything, 701-271-1100. Again, 701-271-1100. And I think it's incredible when you watch these Make America Great Again candidates that are picking up some W's. You know, you see Herschel Walker doing well. I don't know the candidate's name in New Hampshire, but he's doing pretty well. And yet the people in the swamp, a lot of them, they just simply do not want to support these Make America Great Again candidates. So we will see what happens, Diane. We will see what happens. On Saturday, Scott Jensen was in Moorhead. And we talked about the poll last week. A lot of you calling in. KSTP had a poll recently. And Scott Jensen mentions this in the poll, but it's an online poll, and it showed him down by like 18 points. And again, he was winning in the economy. He was winning in inflation. Yet he was not winning when it came to abortion, women, things of that nature. And so who knows if that poll's even remotely accurate. But I did want to give Dr. Jensen a chance to respond to it. Again, if you want to call into the show, very easy to do. 701-271-1100, 701-271-1100. I'm going to play some of this. I know the phones are ringing, so we'll get to those as well. But here's some of Scott Jensen from Saturday responding to the latest KSTP poll. Here, obviously, the big talk for the past week is this new KSTP poll. A couple of things. One, shows you down by 18. Just your reaction, your response to it.
I think the poll is a gimmick. I think that when you see a poll that says that Tim Walz is winning on the crime issue 51-35, you know there's a problem. When you see him getting some 20 or 25% of conservative votes in Minnesota, I think you got a problem. When you have a poll like that that's online, you get a tremendous selection bias. An awful lot of the everyday voters are not going to go online, are not going to do a poll that might take 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes. Perhaps the person gets $25 for completing it. I don't know what the, if you will, the carrot was. But we've already been shared, given some other polling data that shows that it's much closer than that. Other polls have shown us 2 or 4 percentage points behind within the margin of errors. We feel very confident that this is going to be a close race. And we think that people are going to ultimately hold Tim Walz accountable. They're going to hold him accountable for his attitude towards the National Guard, the fact that he wouldn't put them on the streets when they could have helped, calling them 19-year-old cooks, and even his past history, where when he was in the National Guard and he was the command sergeant major, once he was advised that they would be deployed to Iraq, he quit the National Guard and he basically abandoned his soldiers. I think people want to know more about that.
One of you called into the show last week and brought that up. I had not heard that story. It is a stunning story to think that the governor of Minnesota, who was in the Guard, we're going to talk more about the power of our National Guard and Reserve in the next segment, because there's a local company in town that got a huge, huge national award today to thank them for the great work that they're doing for our Guard and Reserve troops. So stay tuned for that. Carrie says, I don't waste my time on polls and don't trust the results. I'm with you, Carrie. The thing was with KSTP is they put out a poll the next day. Obviously, they did them all at the same time, but it was about the Attorney General office, Secretary of State. Those were much, much closer. And so when I saw this Jensen poll, I was like, there's just no way. But again, thank you to the person that called in and talked about Governor Walz's leaving the Guard when he was being deployed. Let's get to the phone calls. If you want to call in and share your point of view on anything, 701-271-1100. Again, 701-271-1100. Let's go to Charles. Charles, welcome to the show. What's your point of view?
Well, this is Charles Tuttle. How you doing, Chris?
CT, what's up, man?
Well, I'm on the ballot running for Secretary of State.
You're on.
I am.
When did you get the news?
I got the news last week. I think the Bismarck Tribune posted it, but KFYR is refusing to put me on the notice. Evidently, they put Rick Becker and Miss Munn, but yeah, I qualified actually before they did. So we're gonna have a good race. We got to talk about the election integrity. I got Dr. Frank coming into North Dakota, doing an analysis on our elections here. So we got a lot of things to talk about. The machines, how we're going to solve that problem. They upgraded them from the oldest software, Windows 7, to the second oldest software, the Windows 10. So not much of an improvement as far as I can tell.
No, and well, Charles, congrats on being on, and you sort of read my mind. I was going to ask, so what's going to be sort of your main platform? And it sounds like it's going to be election integrity. So we may have you back here in the near future to talk more about that. We've got some more calls coming in we want to get to. And again, if you want to call into the show, number to call in, 701-271-1100, 701-271-1100. We got a caller on line too. Welcome to the show. What's your point of view? Are you there? Sir, ma'am. Hi there. How are you?
Hey, good. Say, I didn't realize I was the one on the line two. I'm just wondering if you've had a lot of people maybe question the fact that all that money went over to Ukraine that is unaccounted for, and now all of a sudden we're just getting outspent in just about every state, like 3-1, like unheard of numbers. Like, how is no one drawing the conclusion that that money that went over to Ukraine is now being spent against us?
Sir, they didn't put your name in the caller log, but I don't know it, but I like how you're tying the breadcrumbs together. I've heard similar conversations when it comes to USAID. Now things get funneled. I'm not making any allegations, but I think you bring up a very interesting point. Let's put it that way.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, thank you. So what he's saying there is, and again, I have no proof, but if you know anything about Ukraine, it's like a washing machine. Hopefully you understand what I'm saying. I mean, it's like a washing machine, right? We've dropped a lot of money into Ukraine. How's it being used? I don't know. I think it's also interesting that Lindsey Graham drops this bill, and what happened in Ukraine recently? Oh, Russia's being pushed back a little bit. Huh. Again, it's hard to tie these things together. That's why I'm just saying, look, we're going to give you some breadcrumbs. We're going to give you some storylines. We're going to give you some things to think about because you're living in the Truman Show. You are living in the Truman Show. So we want to give you some different angles, some different points of view to see what's currently happening right now, what kind of things are taking place. You can view it any way you want and then make your own conclusions. We've said many times here on the show, don't trust me. Don't trust anybody. Trust God and trust your gut because that's about all you got right now, the way things are going in this country. Trust God and trust your gut and pray a lot that we can get this thing back on track and turned around. And I think really one of the keys, I was talking to a friend of mine about it today, is we need to start electing righteous people again. I think I said this earlier in the week, but I was at church on Sunday and as I was sitting there praying, the Lord just really spoke to me about, Chris, walk in the law of kindness and may your lips be filled with righteousness. Just think about that for a moment. May your lips be filled with righteousness. Can we please have more people in these elected positions where their lips are filled with righteousness? When we come back, local company got a big, big award today. We're going to say about that and much more coming up after this.
As a business owner or operator, have you ever wondered how much money your unreliable IT network's downtime is costing you? Do you wish you had an IT professional but think you can't afford one? With managed IT services from 702 Communications, you get an entire team of IT professionals to handle all of your business IT needs and all for much less than you think. Right now, for a limited time, 702 Communications is offering your first month of managed services free with a promo code THEFLAG. Call 702 Communications today at 218-284-5702. And our managed service team will help you find a technology solution that fits your needs and puts your mind at ease. For a limited time, call 702 Communications today at 218-284-5702 or go to 702com.com and get your first month of managed services free with promo code THEFLAG.
If you've had COVID-19 or some strain of it, you've most likely experienced cognitive dysfunction, otherwise known as brain fog. Hi, I'm Dr. Oliver Sirset, and I'm here to tell you that it is real. Brain fog isn't a medical or scientific term. It's a term used by individuals to describe how they feel after COVID. sluggish, fuzzy, downright exhausted. For some, the brain fog lasts up to 8 months. Seroset has helped others, and we can help you. Seroset, relax, rebalance, reset.
Welcome to Soybean Minute, your source for timely soybean news.
I'm North Dakota Soybean Council Director, Rob Rose of Wimbledon. Successful soybean production requires careful management throughout the growing season. NDSU Extension offers pest management information for farmers. The North Dakota Soybean Production Field Guide provides producers with soybean production information throughout the state. It addresses issues related to variety selection, growth, fertility management, disease, insect and weed control, harvest, and storage management of soybeans. NDSU's Crop and Pest Report provides weekly regional crop updates through the efforts of NDSU Experiment Station researchers. 3 NDSU Extension Service publications are available on one app called NDSU Pest Management App for smartphone and tablet users. Stay in contact with your local NDSU Extension agent about production issues. Visit ndsoybean.org.
This message is brought to you by the North Dakota Soybean Council and the Soybean Checkoff.
With our oil and natural gas resources, North Dakota is making the whole nation stronger. America is more secure and energy independent thanks to North Dakota's oil and natural gas industry. We are less dependent on unfriendly foreign energy sources because of what we are producing right here in our state. It's making America better for generations. North Dakota's oil and natural gas, advancing the possibilities.
Happy hump day. Welcome back to the Chris Berg Show, your daily dose of truth to help set you free. That is the theme of this show. We are all about just being truth lovers and freedom fighters. That is you and that is me. That's why we're here to ensure that we have as much freedom and liberty and sovereignty as possible for ourselves and our families. We were talking a moment ago about all the interesting things happening right now as we're just 54 days away from this midterm election. And Angie says, hey, careful, Chris. You might have the FBI and you like my pillow, man. With a smile, of course, but I'm sure you saw the news. In fact, it was interesting yesterday. You and I talked about, hey, is the DOJ weaponizing the FBI? Don't you love all the acronyms in the federal government? Is the DOJ weaponizing the FBI? And then yesterday, Mike Lindell, Mr. My Pillow, ends up getting his phone, I think, subpoenaed, or there was a search warrant, or I don't have all the details in front of me, but he was in Mankato, Minnesota, I believe, like at a Hardee's drive-up. And next thing you know, boom, FBI is on him. So we talked a moment ago about the show here. We are freedom lovers. And that's why earlier today I had an incredible opportunity. Gate City Bank, we all know Gate City Bank. They do a lot of great things here for our community. And they were awarded the Freedom Award because of the great support that they offer for our Guard and Reserve service members. Now, here's what's amazing. In a moment here, you're going to hear from their chairman of the board, but only 15 companies in the entire nation win this award. And what's incredible is that there were over 2,000, actually there was exactly 2,777 companies that were nominated. So over 2,700 companies nominated, and one here in Fargo ended up winning this award because of what they do to support our great Guard and Reserve members to go out and, they can get called within 24, 40 hours going, hey, we need you out there on the front lines, and they got to leave work. And Gate City Bank is really doing some incredible things to support these young men and women that put their lives on the line to support our freedoms, where they're going to pay them while they're gone. Then they give them 2 weeks off and they get back to spend more time with their families, just kind of get, recouped and regrouped. And so it was really a special event. I've got it all up on our Facebook page. If you want to go check it out, you can go to facebook.com/Chris Berg Show. Again, facebook.com/Chris Berg Show. But while I was there, I had a chance to visit with some of the executives from Gate City Bank. Sergeant Hogue out of Bismarck, he's the one that actually nominated Gate City Bank, so you get a chance to hear from him as well. But so I wanted to play for you. A lot of us know Steve Swantek. He's now he's retired as the president and CEO, but now the chairman of the board there at Gate City Bank. And so here's some of the things he had to share about what it means to Gate City Bank and our community and our area to win this Freedom Award.
Swantek, congratulations on winning the Freedom Award. Obviously, you built a tremendous culture here that supports our military, our service members. Just share a little bit about how it feels to win this award and what it means to Gate City Bank.
Well, it is a privilege to be recognized as one of 15 businesses in the United States, and the credit goes to the team. It's our culture of creating a better way of life, making a difference. When you think, Chris, about what our Guard men and women do for us, whether it's locally, floods, tornadoes, blizzards, to out nationwide, worldwide, working on avoiding terrorism in the U.S., protecting our freedoms and liberties. If there's some things that we can do to make a difference, it's really gratifying.
Talk about sort of the genesis of your passion, or Gate City Bank's passion to support military, because there's other companies out there that maybe try to do it, but just not as well as you are.
Well, I was born and raised in Edgeley, and we used to have a National Guard unit in Edgeley, an engineering battalion, and also was ingrained growing up. My dad was in the occupation forces in Japan. I was in Army ROTC and was commissioned as a second lieutenant. Did not serve because of reduction in force. But I look back and I just, admire what they've done and the difference. And then when you think about these individuals, Chris, men or women that are going deployed and they're overseas or they're anywhere in the U.S. for months away, and they're taking a reduction in pay. And so my thought was, okay, let's not reduce their pay. Let's have them continue to get the pay they got at Gate City, along with the benefits as well. And that's one less thing they have to worry about. And then when they come back, they have 2 weeks additional time off to be with family, kids, parents, whatever. And I think it just sends a message about how gratified we are as individuals and as a company in the difference they make for us.
I'm curious, you mentioned this is a national award, one of 15 across the entire country. There was 2,777 nominations. And the moment you found out you won, what was your reaction?
I got the call, and I would say humbled. I'm very humbled by it because, it's and gratification of what the team has done and the difference we've made.
You mentioned the great things that the military does to support us and our freedoms. Why is that support for the military and the families just so important to you and to Gate City Bank?
Well, you look at us and what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. We're trying to make ends meet, meet the needs of our customers and our communities and our team members. And here you have these individuals that have volunteered to go out and make a difference here, whether, like I said before, if it's a flood issue, tornado, search and rescue, or going overseas or whatever to protect our freedoms and liberties. That's so critical and important, Chris.
Again, congratulations to Gate City Bank, Steve Swantek, just doing some really, really great things there for our community. So we appreciate their support for our Guard and Reserve people. It was an outstanding event today. Thank you so much for joining us here today. As always, thanks for calling into the show. Number to do so, 271-1100. Do it tomorrow at 4:06. We got another great show in store for you right here at 4 p.m.